It all started with a comment. That little nudge from Mateo Ruales 9120 posted 5 days ago. Yo, I check out Bill Donahue. Something about it seemed casual, almost dismissive, like a half-baked suggestion. But you know what? Those are the ones that hit the hardest. So I took the dive. I didn't expect much. Maybe some standard preachy feel-good stuff. Instead, I found myself neck-deep in Bill Donahue's world, a place where the very concept of God, humanity, and the universe gets flipped upside down, spun around, and spat back out with a message that leaves traditional religious minds shaking in their pulpits. You are gods, Donahue says, almost daring you to argue. Yeah, it hits you like a gut punch, doesn't it? But here's the kicker. They don't want you to know that. I stumbled onto one of Donahue's videos like a drunk slipping on a patch of ice, sudden, jarring, with a bit of pain that makes you question what you're doing with your life. There he was, breaking down religious traditions, calling out preachers with their towering cathedrals and robes of authority, while a captivated audience swallowed everything whole. He recounts a moment watching Dr. James Kennedy, a well-spoken, well-credentialed Christian leader, standing tall in a magnificent church, telling his audience that the very idea of humans being gods is satanic. That's right, satanic. Kennedy points to psychology as the villain, the seductive whisper telling us that we are divine. But Donahue, he calls bullshit. He's not having it. In fact, he flips to John 10:34 in the Bible, and there it is, Jesus' own words. Is it not written in your law, I said, you are gods? It's like he's pulling the rug out from under the entire Christian institution, and they've been hoping no one notices. Let's pause for a second. Imagine that, the supposed Son of God himself saying you're gods, and yet we've spent the last couple thousand years being told that we're sinners, broken, needing salvation from some distant, untouchable divine force. What Donahue is doing here isn't just tweaking the narrative, he's lighting it on fire. He's daring you to ask the big, uncomfortable question, why has this been hidden from you? Why are the ones in power, those polished, commanding religious figures, so terrified of this truth? The answer's obvious once you see it. It's control. If you knew you were divine, what would you need them for? Think about it. A system that thrives on your guilt, your fear of being less than, crumbles the moment you realize your own inherent power. And let's not pretend this is just about religion. This hits deeper. It's a blow to the very structures that govern your life. Donahue doesn't stop at religion. He takes a sharp turn into the human psyche, and this is where things get real. See, it's not just the church that's been lying to you. It's society, education, family, all those structures you think you can trust. From the moment you were born, Donahue argues, your mind has been conditioned to believe that you're small, powerless, and dependent on external validation, whether that comes from religion or the world around you. It's like you're walking through life with chains you can't see, bound by traditions that tell you what you are allowed to believe about yourself. This is the real mind control. The moment you step outside of this conditioning, people get uncomfortable, nervous even, because now you're not playing by the rules. You're questioning what you've been spoon-fed your entire life. You're asking, am I really that small? And Donahue's there egging you on. No, you're not small. You're goddamn divine. Here's where it gets wild. Bill Donahue tears into the idea that religion and psychology are at odds, which isn't a surprise. He recalls Dr. Kennedy's stern warning to his congregation, Beware of psychology because it makes you look inward instead of upward. And that's the threat. Religion tells you to look up, reach out for a God that's out there, while psychology nudges you to look inside, to dig into the subconscious and find out what's really going on. Donahue points out that this fear of introspection is intentional. It's all part of the programming. They don't want you to turn inward because the moment you do, you realize you don't need them. You realize the divine spark is within you. And that's the true heresy, isn't it? It's not about worshiping yourself. It's about reclaiming what was yours all along. A power they locked away under centuries of dogma and guilt. Let me leave you with this. If you really are a god, why would anyone in power ever want you to know that? So let's talk about that key, the one Donahue says we all have, but don't know how to use. According to him, the subconscious mind is the real battleground. While your conscious mind is busy with day-to-day nonsense, work, relationships, politics, the real power is locked away, deep inside, just waiting to be unlocked. Imagine it like this. 90% of your mind is sitting in the dark, holding all the beliefs and ideas you didn't even choose, stuffed in there by your parents, your teachers, your culture. That's the real prison. And the worst part, you don't even know it's there. Donahue talks about how every thought, every belief you've been conditioned with digs itself into the subconscious and festers. Left unchecked, those negative thoughts grow like weeds, slowly taking over your life. It's no wonder people are miserable, sick, and lost. They're walking around with subconscious programming that they didn't even choose, and it's controlling every move they make. The real prison isn't made of walls, it's made of